Welcome back to Luigi's Mansion 3. We're at the prehistoric exhibit, so Lewis, if you could go on a Michael Crichton tangent, that'd be great.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about Michael Crichton Tangent, as the only novels that I've read of his are the Jurassic Park ones.
That's why I brought him up, yes.
So, it's like, I wouldn't be able to tell you, like, anything about Dragon's Teeth, or Andromeda Strain, or any of those.
I would like to point out that putting your museum on floor 9 of a hotel seems like an extremely terrible idea, because I feel like trying to travel up ancient historical remains 9 stories would probably be dangerous to the exhibit.
Not really.
And also,
they were
like,
just, places like these
He's got an elevator.
places like these have cargo elevators that are in employees only areas.
this hotel has one elevator, and we're riding it.
One elevator that we can see.
We go through the whole hotel, John.
No, you never see the cargo elevators.
Yes, because they don't
if you do,
exist.
you're-
There would be
You're-
cargo
you're- if you
elevators,
do, you're
though,
breaking
because any
the law.
hotel needs them just to transport furniture. You're not getting a bed up to floor 37 on a passenger elevator. I'm sorry. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
that's
No,
why
now
you
I
get a
just- now
crane, or better yet, a trampoline, and you drop the bed on the trampoline, and then it bounces up to floor 37.
That doesn't work.
No, instead you just have the entire hotel staff, the moving staff when the hotel opens, doing the only funny joke from Friends of Pivot.
Oh, pivoting.
Pivot.
I mean, I
Oh,
know the
God.
beds come disassembled, but even the box with all the disassembled components is too big for a goddamn passenger
I mean, the
elevator.
mattress is a mattress, depending on what kind of box frame you're
Yeah.
using. Can't exactly disassemble
Yeah,
that.
so it's going to be this big-ass, wide, clanky, loud cargo elevator, like, way in the back of the hotel. And the moment...
I don't know, I'm just saying, if there was a cargo elevator, this game would be a lot shorter.
I
Unless
mean,
they...
Luigi just remembered he could wall jump.
Everybody else heard cowgirl elevator, right?
Yeah, I did,
Look.
actually.
You guys might have some Freudian
So wait-
stuff going on, but I did not
No,
say
John,
cowgirl.
John, he
elevator.
means the Crushinator 4000. You who?
This was my favorite boss in the game.
Oh, I hate this boss. I mean, yes, in concept it's cool. Fighting the T-Rex fossil is a neat idea, and, like, it fits with it being a ghost and whatnot because
It's mostly...
it's like a fossil.
It's mostly
But-
because I'm a dinosaur nerd that I enjoy fighting a dinosaur boss in a game. And this is a dinosaur skeleton, which tickles my nerd bone in a really good way. However, I have a feeling that this skeleton is incorrect enough to deserve an entire episode of Your Dinosaurs Are Wrong all to itself. So,
Oh, Christ, I don't care.
I like them better with scaly skin. I'm sorry.
dinosaurs didn't actually hold their hands, like, facing down like that, the way the Jurassic Park movies portray them. That is an outdated perception, and the only reason the Jurassic Park movies continue to do it is because there's no good way to explain why they stopped doing it in universe. So,
Also, couldn't they just get away with saying it's very much a Jurassic Park thing? At
yeah,
that point?
well,
It's like T-Rexes do this in this
Unfortunately-
movie because that's
unfortunately,
what it does
as a result, almost every pop culture version of a dinosaur you see, past and present, continues to do that. They hold their hands... Look, when you hold your hands out and you're relaxing them, your palms are facing each other, right? That's the way dinosaurs held their hands, and they could not turn their wrists. It was a function that their bodies did not have.
Okay, so that's the part that I hate about this boss, because it felt to me really unintuitive. I mean, I know that I brought up in an earlier boss fight that I had Luigi go on a suicide mission, but I don't feel like that's something you should have to do in order to hurt the boss.
Yeah, it's not something you technically have to do at any point in the game, so it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, it just... I
mean,
didn't like...
it kind of does, but at the same time, I figured it out without any trouble, so I don't know.
I mean, maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. It took me... I had to look it up. I just could not figure out how to...
Stop
how
destroying
to do
those
that.
priceless fossils. Oh, there's a velociraptor
That
exhibit.
priceless fossil is attacking
I
me.
was paying too much attention to the boss while I was playing to notice exactly what dinosaurs there were on display.
I mean,
but there's
Lewis,
a velociraptor.
you're talking about the expensive fossils here, but we've sucked up probably several $1 million worth of hotel furniture at this point.
The hotel furniture can be replaced. Fossils can't.
I mean, sure
Also,
they
if you're
can. You just have
struggling
to
to
wait a
think
really,
what-
really, really long time.
If you're struggling to think what dinosaur fossils were there before they went kablooey, it's always a safe assumption to assume T-Rex, Velociraptor, and Triceratops, because there are no other dinosaurs in existence.
Stegosaurus,
Stegosaurus.
okay, John. Also, Ankylosaurus is a boss. It had a club
Sorry.
on its
I
tail.
think you just made that up.
No, it's the one with the club on its tail and the
Brachiosaurus. Is
that
turtle
like
It's
Is that like a T-Rex?
Brachiosaurus.
a T-Rex, but
Stegosaurus.
better because it's got a weapon on its tail and it's cool.
There are
Alright.
there are a lot of popular dinosaurs, even before you get outside into the realm of obscure ones. Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Brachiosaurus.
Kylosaurus, like Kylo Ren the dinosaur.
Okay, there probably is more than one Star Wars named dinosaur. There's a Crichtonsaurus, okay. It's, I think, just a variant of Ankylosaurus, but yeah, there is a Crichtonsaurus. There is a, I forget the exact name, Dracorex, that's it. It was named from Draco Malfoy.
I know it's not dinosaurs, but there was some sort of, I think it was a cancer gene or whatever,
And
they tried to name after Pikachu, but Nintendo said no.
And there's also a dinosaur where, okay, the full name is in two parts and the second part is Hogwartsia. So,
Oh God.
okay, scientists are nerds, I'm just gonna say, and they like naming things after things they like. So it's fairly normal. Also, there are so many dinosaur species that we know of at this point, even accounting for all the ones we thought were actual, like, separate species but turned out not to be. That we're
It's
running
almost
out of
like
names.
they lived over It's almost like they lived over millions and millions of years, and so likewise, there's going to be millions and millions of different species.
Oh yes, for certain.
I mean, for Christ's sakes, I mean, aren't we still? We only know we know so little.
My
Oh.
point
Very
is,
ocean
we're
itself.
running out of names, so the names get dumb.
Oh, Ryan,
Dinosaur
you got
A.
cock-blocked here. Really
Yeah, I
bad.
know. 1
I
HP.
mean, for God's sakes, this bird here is just called Nick Fury.
Man,
It's not even clever.
and
Boy, am I glad that he sucked in there and we're out here.
also, like, I get that the layman, like, associates prehistoric times with cavemen and dinosaurs, but seeing them associating with each other so often in pop culture kind of angers me.
Well, you mean Jesus didn't live with the dinosaurs?
No, Jesus did not live with the dinosaurs, although young Earth creationists might actually argue that.
The reason why they
That's
all
what I
died
remember
off
seeing
is
this.
because Noah couldn't fit them all on the ark. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but there's a Donald Duck cartoon where he's Noah and putting all the animals on the ark. And, like, I think it's like the dodo and a couple of other animals are just laughing at it or something like that, which is funny but dark.
Yeah. But that would mean the real flood was man.
Herm. Herm.
You know what? That's probably an accurate summary of the Halo expanded universe. Anyway,
Oh, God. God.
The zombies crawling over walls in World War Z was just a real-life documentary of Noah's Ark.
I mean, that's not the least plausible interpretation of a story I've heard. So,
Now comes the best part of the game where we fling Toad and bash his face into everything.
but anyway,
dude, that's glass. You're gonna shatter and rip up his face.
but anyway,
I don't care. It's a Toad. We have like millions of them.
It's sugar glass.
as I was saying before, I sidetracked myself like 3 times in a row.
Your aims suck, Ryan.
Fossils cannot be replaced. They are not just exhibits that you put on display in a museum. Every fossil is a reference point for further paleontology research. Whenever someone's trying to figure something out about a particular breed or family or whatever of dinosaurs, they reference the existing fossil record. And
Well, from what I understand, though, if you're gonna have it on display in a museum, is it safe to assume that you've done everything you've already could do with that?
well,
exhibit, and that's why you're okay with having it displayed.
Not necessarily. New technology comes out all the time, and that kind of.
And what did the dude go back to the museum and say, okay, I need this back?
There are a few things.
Well, basically, yeah.
There are a few things. The fossil on display might just be a reconstruction, for one thing, like made from a cast of the original. The other thing, though,
that's what
is
I figure.
That if you're seeing like a complete pristine skeleton, it probably is a reconstruction. It might not be. There are some genuine ones, but it probably is a reconstruction because not very many fossils are in the kind of condition it takes to construct a complete skeleton. A lot of the time,
Yeah, you're usually missing a
lot of the time you're putting
because at the end of the day, bones are organic matter.
What you're probably doing when you put together a full skeleton is you're reconstructing a bunch of different skeletons, a bunch of different fossils that you found in different places that are probably the same dinosaur, but may not be. There are some amusing mistakes that paleontologists have made along that way, like different size stegosauruses being put together, and that's why we thought the front legs were so small for so long.
I believe Lucy, like one of the oldest ancestors of humans that they found, was originally just like 40 bones out of the 200 something that are actually in.
So even when you construct a skeleton from a bunch of different bones from a bunch of different fossils you found, you're probably filling in about half of it from your imagination. But
so one of my
that egg just popped out of existence.
one of my favorite things that I've read recently was the Kotaku did an article where they got real life museum people to look at the museum in Animal Crossing, and Blathers
passes the test. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no. Here's the thing. Blathers takes completely unethical donations because if there was any, because like you can get fake art in Animal Crossing, and if there was any hint at all that the art that you were going to donate to a museum was at any point on the black market, I believe they're not allowed to take it. And he also like expresses the desire to buy the things for himself, which is also not okay in the world of museum stuff. So Blathers is secretly shady ne'er-do-well. You know, he thinks he's so. You think he's so pleasant with his, with his narcolepsy and his bow tie, but
what you're saying is that PETA might have a point.
No, we're never saying.
Why would this prove PETA right? The animal is the bad guy.
I think the most hilarious thing about that is that for the museum to even be there in the first place, you have to fucking cage animals. So it's like, whatever.
Well, I mean, fish and birds. No, we're not
yes,
fish,
but you can
fish
catch
and
a frog.
Fish and
you
bugs.
can catch a frog, and there are frog villagers. Also, octopus.
Right.
I mean, that just goes back to the old question of how is Goofy and Pluto in the same universe? Which is funny because one of the I forget the director, but the more recent-ish shorts actually addresses that.
Oh wow, really?
It's like
basically Goofy's tired of working, so he becomes Mickey's dog by just rolling over and playing nice and stuff.
I'm trying to think. And like, do fish count scientifically as animals? Do bugs count scientifically as animals?
Well, they're on the animal tree, because if I remember, there's like plant, animal, and fungi are the three branches of life. So bugs and fish are animals in that sense.
Like, I can never keep straight how those categories work. Like
it's functionally how the cell in a multi-cell organism kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Biology was never the subject that I was good at in school, though. Like, biology and chemistry, I despise. I hate them.
I hate
my extent in biology is, how does it taste?
How does it taste? What?
I know that...
Were you licking the Bunsen burner, John?
I know that depending on the way that you categorize, that on the exact categorization system you're running with, currently, birds are technically classified as dinosaurs because they're descended from that line. So, yeah.
Yes, that is something that's true, is that birds are technically dinosaurs.
Chickens. So the dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets you had as a kid were accurate.
Well, probably the most dinosaur-like bird in existence right now, to my knowledge anyway, is the ostrich.
Damn.
Which is funny because we kind of stereotype them as cowards with heads in the sand and all that.
Right.
Yeah, which is also not a thing that's real. I think they like just
They made
duck.
that up for cartoons.
Yeah, I think they do like duck really low to hide under the tall grass and plains and stuff, but they do not bury their. I wonder how they got that idea though, if it's not a thing that actually happens.
That was probably a misconception born of a time when we didn't know how physics worked. Because, you know, if you know how sand works, then imagine thrusting your head directly into the sand and try to figure out how well that would go for your skull. It wouldn't.
It's okay though. They're an ostrich. They can do it because they're an ostrich.
That's it. Yeah.
There are a lot of weird ideas that people developed over time about different animals, and many of them are inaccurate, such as the lion being noble, or the spotted hyena being an asshole. Yes, I'm never going to let that go.
It really is just because the lion looks more impressive
It is.
than the
That is
spotted
exactly
hyena.
that is exactly why the idea comes from. Like the hyena looks downright menacing, but it's actually a pretty nice animal.
It's hyenas are relatives of dogs, right?
So we have Lion King basically to blame for
Yeah,
all that.
more or less.
Yeah.
Or at the very least for reinforcing the stereotype.
The stereotype
at that
existed
point.
before the movie, but yeah. I hate it when you open a chest above a precipice like that, and you have to rush around the room to collect all the money from it, because the fucking chest, of course, scatters it everywhere, and the timer on it disappearing is so tight. Then, of course, you inevitably miss a few coins.
Another example of padding because Luigi is the spook.
This asshole. Fuck.
He could have
This asshole.
just caught him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you've caught guys how many times now? It's like he's just laying there sleeping. Just strobe bulb him. You don't need to be scared of him.
His hat was below his eyes.
Okay, so
You couldn't flash him with his hat below his eyes.
just okay. He's still asleep. Smack him, and then when he's discombobulated as he wakes up, strobe bulb him.
That would be the thing to do if we were playing as someone with courage.
And competency, yes.
We're just kind of the bumbling, unlikely hero
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
We're Lester the unlikely. Luigi the unlikely. We may not have a tripping mechanic, but
Luigi the Unlikely. By the time we get to Luigi's Mansion 6, I think it will then be Luigi the Likely. It's like, oh,
that
Luigi,
just
you're
a
going
working
to a
title
slightly ominous sounding area. There's going to be ghosts there, Luigi.
Isn't Luigi the Unlikely,
No.
type name for Luigi in the Waffle
Luigi
Kingdom?
smirks and beats his chest. I can take him. Why did you go back?
Oh,
Because I was trying to hold left, and for some reason,
Oh, it did that.
the platform's a bit weird, and it did that thing where it technically registered me going into the pipe again.
Right.
You say that though, but sometimes I kind of surprise myself catching myself thinking that I'm holding up on an analog stick when in reality it's more northwest, almost left at times.
Well, that's
Yeah,
I guess that's
pretty
one thing that I will give the GameCube controller, which I know that I still firmly believe that people need to move on. That thing's almost 20 years old now.
I don't
It
like
did have those notches so that
I
you knew when you were
hate
going exactly.
those notches. I'm sorry. I like to navigate by analog feel. I don't need the controller telling me that I'm pointing my analog stick directly north. Because if I am, my character will be going north, and they'll be going exactly the way that I want them to based on how the game feels. And I consider it a failure on the game designer's part if analog game feel isn't sufficient to guide my character with an analog stick.
But Lewis, you don't understand. We need to have support for this 20-year-old controller in modern games because
The thing is, if a game really does need 8-directional movement guidance, I can use the D-pad for that. So,
If you're talking strictly cardinal directions, sure. I don't mind the notches. I don't mind them.
The thing is, when I try to be precise with a notched analog stick, the notches get in my way. Maybe I'm trying to go slightly northwest because that's where I want to go. Well, I either have to hold back on the analog speed in order to do that, which halfway defeats the point, or I hold the analog stick full tilt and accidentally wind up going in slightly the wrong direction, and it's annoying. And it doesn't ruin the gameplay experience for me, but it does kind of make me wish I was using a different controller to play the game.
You can get one of those third-party controllers from GameStop.
Please no.
Yes, John, but that's like saying that you could go to Burger King if you're hungry. It's an option, but it's not an option.
I'll offer you an option.
I've
You turn
had
it down.
experience with GameStop controllers throughout all my life, and comparing them to Burger King is giving GameStop too much credit.
They're White Castle.
White Castle,
I've never been to
yes.
White Castle.
Well, I haven't been to White Castle, but I have had frozen White Castle burgers at work. They're the grossest things I've ever eaten.
Like straight out of the freezer, you didn't even heat them up.
Well, I microwave them, of course, but they're like the grossest goddamn burgers I've ever eaten.
What?
Yes. Well, I don't know about the genuine article, okay, but the frozen ones suck.
No, White Castle normally sucks.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna be the odd man out here.
Lewis and Ryan go to White Castle the movie.
Yeah, and then say, "Man, go to
I mean,
Burger King."
okay,
instead.
at least when I go to Burger King...
Or you could go to a good
At
restaurant.
least when I go to Burger King, they have the Baconator, which drowns out whatever shortcomings the sandwich might have in sauce and bacon.
No, the Baconator's Wendy's.
No, Bacon King, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bacon...
You see,
Which
your
is like
brain
Bacon
was
Bacon.
associating it with
Only
a good
more
season.
regal.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing as the Baconator, except it's Burger King's version of it. So,
Yes, that's it.
and
No. I mean, Burger King's Burger King is.
but they also have
wider.
like a decent. They also have like a decent spicy chicken sandwich now too. Yeah, they're copying Wendy's hard now, but still, like there's something good to eat at Burger King.
Does White Castle do Pepsi or Coca-Cola?
It's been so long since I've been to a White Castle
They're
establishment.
mostly in the
do not
Midwest, so
know.
probably more Pepsi.
I'll never.
Okay, well then, yes, that is something that Burger King has over them because
I'll
Pepsi is awful.
never understand what the difference between the two is. Like
So,
What?
I
Coke and Pepsi?
like I can't
Pepsi
tell
and
the
Coke?
difference.
There's a clear distinct
They just
taste.
taste like
Yeah,
cola to
they
me.
You see, Lewis, you could talk to some people and they'd be like, "I don't get the difference between Mario and Sonic. They're not. They're just the same thing to me." And then you would be like, "Oh, but actually, you duh, duh, duh." And that's what
Okay,
the Pepsi and
there
Cola
is-
debate sounds like.
There is a difference between sugary tastes and, actual programming differences and mechanical differences.
Yes, but
There's
you
a
don't
clear,
understand. The sugary
distinct
taste of this one is very different from the sugary taste of that one.
I don't understand what's so hard about it. There's clearly a different taste between. Pepsi
I
and
can't
Coke.
tell the difference. Like I can't. The only
Are you
the
a
only
mutant,
the
Lewis?
only thing that ever affects whether I buy one over the other is which one happens to be on sale at Wawa that day. So-
Okay, so now if we all got mutant powers and BrainScratch, Lewis is the one that drew the short straw where he can't distinguish the taste between Pepsi and Coke.
Oh, that's the worst mutant thing ever. Not only do you have frickin' legislation trying to go down your ass and, the X-Men trying to recruit you, but you don't even get to, walk up walls or read people's minds or whatever. It's just like...
No,
my
you're
mut-
just one. You're one of the shitty intern X-Men who are the janitors or monitor the computers and stuff, so you can say you're an X-Men, but you don't actually do anything.
Basically, you're
What's your mutant power? I can open jars of pickles
Ba-
without having to try all that hard.
I like White
basically
Castle.
you're telling me I'm weak sauce Jubilee. Okay.
Jubilee shot the fireworks, right?
Yeah, and she couldn't
Yeah.
play at an arcade without losing her temper and destroying the goddamn arcade machines by accident.
Hey, at least she has something to do every 4th of July, she... It's something.
I actually want to go back to the X-Men comics and actually get caught up on Jubilee's comic book history. Before the vampire.
I don't keep up with Marvel, comics all that much, but hate to be the bearer of bad news, but from what I remember, at least a couple years back, people are not happy with how the X-Men are being handled right now. They killed off, almost all of them, if I remember correctly, because there were just too many of them, but then, Wolverine and Cyclops, got into a hissy fit, and now they're on different teams, and
That just
stuff
sounds
has
like
not
a regular
changed.
Thursday for those two, though.
But so again, things might have
Understand.
changed. But from what I remember, last time I was looking into it, the state of the X-Men comics was not great.
I mean, also that's also nothing new because Scott's always a jerk and no one likes him anyway.
No.
Yeah, that I mean, yes.
Well, I mean-
there was also like a time traveling Jean Grey from the past who was in the present or some. The comics are
Of course
dumb.
there was. What I meant, though, was that I want to go to earlier comics and see what Jubilee was up to back, like, before her vampire days.
Oh, you mean you want to go back to the Amalgam comics where she becomes Robin? She
Wait,
becomes
Jubilee
Lieutenant Drake.
becomes a vampire?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was. It was a.
Curse of the
It
Mutant
was a weird
storyline.
time.
Yeah,
God, I hate comic
She.
books.
no, but she got she but she I mean she
I
she
think
got
she
better,
lost her
obviously.
fireworks powers while she was a vampire too. So it's like, why are we even bothering to do Jubilee?
No, she was. I think she was one of the mutants that lost her powers because of the Scarlet Witch
Oh,
thing, the House of M.
right.
And then she got technology-based shit.
Why
And,
do a
then
story where
she
you
became
remove
a
someone's
vampire.
mutant powers to just have them build techno versions of their old powers?
Well, no, because one is clearly the result of the previous thing. So that doesn't.
At one
that doesn't
time
bother me
in
so
comics,
much.
it was considered an effective shake-up to either remove or change a superhero's powers, which is why Superman had his awkward blue Electric Man days. So
Yeah, and we don't like talking about those.
I thought that Superman became blue and electric because that was one of the Supermans that could have been Superman after
no,
Superman
he got
died.
turned into pure energy, and the blue suit was a kind of containment suit for his
Containment.
energy form, and he could sort
God,
of
comics are so bad.
he could sort
I-
of transform himself into a replica of Clark Kent to disguise himself, so that
Which is dumb because we already had Captain Atom in DC who did that exact same thing.
The only kind, yes, it was dumb, and I don't remember. There might have been some connection between that and how he got his suit. But in any case, the only good thing about that era was that it kind of explained why no one could tell that Clark Kent was Superman, because Clark Kent obviously looked like a human being, and Superman obviously didn't. But
I guess
That's
we'll
it.
see, yep, we'll see you all next part.